and welcome back to the Break Zone. I'm Jared Scott, providing continuing coverage of our third event here in the Northern California Meta Potion Circuit from Santa Clara, California at Isle of Gamers. We're getting ready to start Swiss Round 2 here. We've got two different players for our featured match coming up here that are also both pretty solid players. So it should be another good matchup for us. You're going to be seeing Sean O'Looney playing against David the Corgi Corey. Should be a good matchup here. These are both relatively local players for the Bay Area, and very kind of experienced. They know what they're doing. So look forward to this match here, and let's get ready to watch them. So they're shuffling up here. We'll be starting shortly.
That seems really okay. Check.
The roll off to see who's going to go first here, or at least who's going to have to make the decision of who wants to go first. A lot of times, it seems like, at least locally here, most of us like to go second when given the choice for the card advantage there. But if you have a deck that's going to be particularly aggressive, or if you're looking at the possibility of putting out a haste forward on the first turn, then you probably would choose to go first.
Yeah.
Or just if you have a deck that's perhaps like Dylan's, that is built to be aggressive, to force your opponent to have to make decisions based on what you do and be more reactive than proactive, kind of throw them off of whatever their game plan is. But me personally, I like to go second most of the time, unless I've got a really good reason not to. All right, looking at their opening hands here, seeing whether or not they're going to want to mulligan. Looks like David's going to keep his hand there. Sean decides to mulligan. We talked about that last round, how you get to draw 5 new cards after putting the previous 5 on the bottom of your deck. So it gives you an opportunity to see really the top 10 cards of your deck. Sean's going first here, it looks like. He's going to discard an Artemisian for Cosmos. So it's a good early play for any deck that runs multiple elements, even if it's just 2. It still gives you the option for whatever you want there, But we'll see if Cosmos has gotten pretty popular in light-based decks like Water Light. We just saw a water card discarded for her, so that's a distinct possibility that we're looking at a Water Light deck. Corgi is gonna play the Yuna first turn, which is a good setup for a water-based deck. Again, that's gonna help you out later on with the rebate on summons, as it were. So that you're only paying 2 for those water summons. Things like Leviathan and Famfrit, definitely a lot better to play when they're only 2. Sean's going to play into the Merylwib. That's going to let you draw 2 cards and then discard 1 of them. So it's helping you to filter through. Between the Cosmos and the water filtering, that's the sort of things we would see in either a Water Light deck or possibly in a Golbez deck. It's ways to get to the cards that you're looking for. As I mentioned before, when you mulligan, you're getting to see an additional 5 cards. So if there's a specific card in your deck that you're really relying on early on, Corgi is going to play into Lena, discarding Pain and Larsa. Probably going to bring back the Larsa because there's a Knight in his break zone, but the Knight's not going to have a lot of value early on here versus Larsa. Is going to help become help Lena in this case become a defensive powerhouse with potential to increase the power on blocking. But as I was saying, when you're looking at if there's a specific card in your deck that you really want to have early, then between the first 5 cards and then mulligan for the next 5, you're getting 10 cards, and then you're going to get 1 or 2 depending on your first turn there, and you're getting to see up to 12 cards in your deck by the beginning of the game. So if you really want something that early, then it gives you, I think it's a little bit less than a 50% chance of seeing a specific card that you have 3 of in your deck. Corgi comes in with two attacks there, 2 points of damage onto Sean here. So he's still working on setting up his backup line with that Devout there. And Corgi plays into a Trey, which is very good defensively. Sean's going to read it, so that's probably a good sign that we should put that up there so that you all can view it. Trey has picked up popularity here locally in our meta as a good card that is very defensive against a lot of things that people are playing. When he's active, he can't be targeted by abilities, which means that he is immune to things like Al Cid or Amon, or even death penalty, things like that. As long as he's active, he can't be targeted by those things. So he's good against an ice deck. He almost acts a little bit like a guy from Earth. He can still be hit with summons, so there's the option there. But he's good defensively in that way. All right, Sean's gonna discard an Amon, play a Yuna. He's gonna send back Trey, but Trey can't be targeted by abilities, so that's actually not gonna work as a play there. And so since Trey can't be targeted, he's instead going with Lena, returning Lena to Corgi's hand there. So that's a perfect example of how defensive Trey is. Corgi comes in with an attack with Larsa.
The goal. Yep. And I'll mess
Sean plays Moogle there. Famfrit comes up, which is a pretty good play right now.
Yep. I mean, that's why I paid the way I did.
Corgi's gonna return Lena out there and retrieving Larsa again. So Larsa comes back from that Famfrit. So Corgi's keeping up the pressure there. We still haven't seen any forwards from Sean at this point. And he's looking at 3 across from him, even though he's got that backup line set. So, you know, we've got a mismatch in terms of backups that are set up versus forwards. We'll see if he has an option here. Something like a Cloud of Darkness could help to reset things, or Shantoto, depending on what he's running in this deck. With the Cosmos, you know, really anything is game as far as what's in your deck. So it does kind of keep your opponent guessing on what's happening. We are seeing mostly water cards here, though, so that's a good indication that we might not be seeing certain cards, but still, Cloud of Darkness would not be out of the realm of possibility to be in this deck.
I mean, I love the game,
That's
but
why I got the alarm. The launch from my old guild, my new guild is this morning.
Looks like he's going to play a Golbez, so that's, again, that points to what we were kind of expecting based off of what we saw before. So Golbez is going to be a good play to deal with what's going on here. He can use it as a blocker if Corgi decides to attack. He is going to return it to his hand with Leviathan. This might actually be the game right here. And, yep, that's going to be it. So that clutch Leviathan gets rid of the only forward out there, and we've got the end of our match there.
that's a backup. It only freezes my guy. Doesn't double, right? Yes, you have to.
I have to.
I think. Oh, does it say choose? And that's it.
So that was a pretty quick match there, and
right?
as we saw at the end there, Sean's deck was a Golbez deck, and a lot of times Golbez decks are gonna kind of live or die based off of the early game. They tend to be a little bit weaker as the game goes on, although usually that's only after they've broken Golbez the first time, because a second break of Golbez usually is not as effective. In this case, Sean was able to get his backup set up and kind of have a good foundation for what was going on. It could be that he was searching for that Golbez with all those cards that we saw, the Moogles and the
you're leading with
Moogles and the Merrowwib and cards like that. And as I was saying before, with the possibility of drawing a particular card. If you have 3 Golbez in your deck, for example, you do have a little less than 50%. I want to say it's something around 47% chance of seeing it in the first 12 cards or so. But that still leaves a 50+% chance that you're not going to see it. So a lot of times the Golbez decks, you want to have some sort of backup plan of ways that you're gonna function even without drawing Golbez. You want to have some kind of plan. So yeah, that's
Final Fantasy players. There we go.
If they can't get set up early,
then
that gives David the opportunity to come in there.
You guys raise your hand and yell judge when the game is
Anyway,
over, so we can come over and see your board
thank you
state.
for watching us
You
here.
know we're gonna do
We'll have
that.
an interview
We will
shortly
trust
with
you,
the
believe
winner of
me,
that
you
match
guys just record the
in our
event to the
removed
best of
from
your
game
ability. The
segment.
only thing we
So
ask
I
is
will
that
see you
next
guys
to your
shortly,
name, you put damage
and
dealt, you put
then we
how
will
much
have
damage you
round
dealt.
3 after that.
Not how much damage was dealt
So
to you.
thanks for watching.
damage
We'll see
that
you in a
dealt.
couple of minutes here with the interview.
Thank you.
All right, welcome back. I'm Jared Scott here with the winner of our last match, David the Corgi Corey. So you saw him take down that Golbez deck. What was how was your game plan going into that versus how things actually went?
So I've seen him play, looked at his deck in Fresno, was like, I know what he's running. So I was thinking, I really need to be more aggressive than I normally am. I like to set up my backups and try and go into that game plan. I looked at my opening hand and had a Yuna backup, and I'm like, well, I could mulligan, but I got a Leviathan, so if he tries that turn 1 Golbez, I'm okay. So I kept it, and my hand just turned into all summons until I got the Lena with Larsa and Knight, and I was like, he's not doing much but backups. Let me see what I could do and push the aggro there, and force him to play on my game instead of me playing his game.
Yeah, which is funny because I would expect a Golbez deck if it's running the way that you would want it to, it's probably gonna be pretty aggressive with things. So there's kind of a role reversal going on that when water definitely is gonna set up a lot and then be really dangerous later, and then Golbez is trying to get up in your face all early. And here we had Lena and Larsa coming in, as we affectionately call them, Batgirl and Robin, coming in to attack on Golbez there, who
Really okay.
Golbez was just like MIA, like he didn't, his alarm didn't go off or something, I don't know.
He overslept, he was a little worried, he already
Yeah.
saw Batgirl and Robin, he's like, if Batman shows up, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's tough though. I mean, if you're a Golbez player, I was talking about it earlier that, you want to have some sort of backup plan if you don't draw Golbez, but I mean, it's at the same time in the best of one format. We talk about consistency all the time. The consistency is important, and having ways to deal with when your deck isn't functioning the way that you want it to be. Whether it's not drawing backups because they're just all clumped together in the way that you shuffled, or in that case not getting Golbez early. Because I mean that's the sort of deck that can be very dangerous, and I think we've seen Sean's Golbez deck be very dangerous before.
I just sat there looking, going, anything he plays, I've got to really try and hope and go for. I'm not playing the backup game here. When I'm holding that many summons and a couple of fours that don't do anything, I was like, I just got to make it work. I kept the Leviathan. By showing the Yuna first, I let him know I'm playing water, which Golbez doesn't like. They want to pitch everything, play that Golbez and break them. And if I show a Yuna, they maybe take a second and go, well, he could have a Leviathan. Well, let's see how it goes.
Right. Kind of, it's one of those things. It's like, you and I both have our love for Aerith, and we talk about how if you have an Aerith and it's out and it's active, whether or not you have one in your hand, it's effective because your opponent is at least taking the time to consider whether or not they want to play into that, right? There's a risk, right? And so if you've got the Yuna out, immediately that makes it so you can discard any water card in your hand to play that Leviathan or to play a Famfrit, which you wouldn't necessarily play a Famfrit so much with Golbez, but still, it always makes there a possibility of that happening. Very cheaply.
Oh yeah. I mean, I kept what I needed and went with it. And once I saw him setting up for the Yuna, I'm looking at my hand like, well, he's got 2 or 3 backups. He is playing water. I don't expect him to play the water backup Yuna. So the 2-drop one. So I figured, let me put out. My choice was Balthier or him. If I had Aerith, Balthier comes out every time because I'll bluff with the Aerith. Looking at it, I felt Trey was just stronger than that one, and it did. He bounced the Lena and gave me even more value out of it.
Yeah, for sure. So I know you've been playing Waterwind for a while, and you played it at Nationals. And since before that point, is there any major differences or any things you've adjusted in the deck since Nationals and when you played it there?
Yeah, in Nationals I was running the Winzidane because I love to Thoughtseize people and steal their card.
Right.
With this one, I felt the Light Zidane would do more for activating, and so I was running the 9 package. My problem was I was drawing way too many cards and milling myself out and not getting enough value in it.
Right.
And a late game Steiner feels terrible. You're just like, yeah, that's a 7K.
Yeah. It's expensive 7K.
I started looking at the decks that were beating me and seeing what they were running, and I swapped in a couple Veil 4s, the starter one for the extra damage, because Balthier and him are just
the first time I saw that used was when I played Dan Wynn at Nationals, and he was playing Waterwind as well, and that was definitely an interesting play when I was playing my Earthwind deck against him. And I remember he played it, and it was one of those, now I have to think differently than I did before. So it's interesting how some of these, I think all of us coming together at Nationals certain people get exposed to certain cards that we didn't see before because of the local metas and stuff. I know that I was playing the Opus 3 Scarmillion, and about half the time that I played it out there, somebody was going, "Can I read that?" So it's cool that we rethink about cards that earlier in the Opus 3 meta we looked at and went, nah, or maybe even before that point. I mean, Val 4 is all the way back to Opus 1. So.
I looked at Val 4, I'm like, 3K activate, not that good.
Yeah.
I play against Matthew Okamoto in Nationals, and he blows me away with it. I'm like, maybe I need to rethink this card.
Yeah.
But yeah, I swapped out a bunch. I put in Lena to get back Larsa. I brought the Knight because I'm playing the backup game. That's a great little 2 guy.
Yeah.
Unless he gets Zal bagged. Only so much you can do.
That's how it goes.
But yeah, it was. I switched out the 9 engine, made it a little more consistent, and looked for things that I want to actually see late game.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for joining us here. Good luck with the rest of your matches today. If you make top 8, and we'll possibly be seeing you again up here later. So, but best of luck with the rest of your day.
Thanks.
All right, thanks for watching us here at the Break Zone. We will be back with round 3 after this. So stick with us.